I forget. So just a welcome to the second in our series of much loved modules. They are just free sort of bite-sized training sessions. So we expect this morning's session to last in the region of sort of 15-20 minutes, depending on how many questions that our audience have. And please do use the chat box to ask any questions. I can see Jason's already put a good morning in there for us. Yeah, so if you just select it to panelists and attendees, then we know that everybody can see any of the questions that you might have. And feel free to ask us any questions. It doesn't particularly have to be about the area that we're talking about today. So as I said, we are recording today's session. So if you want to share it with any of your colleagues, I'll make sure that an email, a version of it is emailed out to you before the end of the week. So this week's session is going to be all about focusing on the functionality of a tribute page. And Rich is going to show you how to hand over a tribute page through your partner area, but we're also going to run through the functionality of a tribute page, really just so that you can get a real feel for how your families can use and benefit from these pages. And Michelle from Deval and Son sent us this quote a couple of weeks ago, and it was so perfect for this session that I wanted to share it with you. I won't read it out because I'm sure you can all read it. But it just sort of demonstrates that, you know, people do carry on using these pages for years to come. And in fact, we've got a couple of pages, it's probably more than a couple of pages, that have been used for over a decade and are still being used on a regular basis. So they really can make a massive difference to your families in terms of bereavement aftercare and providing a place for people to sort of virtually come together and share stories and memories. So I'm going to hand over to Richard in Windsor now, who's going to take us through how to do the sort of bits and pieces of actually how to hand over a tribute page.
Thank you, Sally. Yeah, our seamless handover from Brighton to Windsor. Hope we'll be back in office soon enough. Okay, so just want to drop onto the next slide for me, Sally. So just a little bit of background. So currently, we are now seeing about 300 pages being created, obviously mainly Monday to Friday, a few over the weekends. Vast majority are set up by funeral directors, but others created by our charity partners and members of the public coming to Much Love directly. And sort of pertinent to today's session, about 80% of those have a tribute guardian added. So why do we have, why do we sort of stress the importance of a tribute guardian? And what is a tribute guardian? So a tribute guardian is that nominated next of kin who goes on to co-own the site in conjunction with a funeral director. Adding a tribute guardian allows deeper access for that individual to that page who would wish to use and nurture that page long after the funeral has been and gone. Really, you can sort of see the pages in kind of two functions. There's the kind of the front part of the service, being able to get important funeral information out there, getting a charity nominated and managed. But then after that funeral date has been and gone, really it's then the page then becomes a bereavement tool for that family. A tribute guardian has full access to a page and will use functionality that's often not utilised or required when a page is set up. And here's some examples of those. Some of you may or may not know, and we can sort of show you how this all works, but you can create future fundraising on these pages. So use the original page for ongoing fundraising. You can create a picture slideshow. You can repersonalize the page. Often pages are set up with a fairly sort of benign neutral theme, but if people want to have quite a specific theme, they can do that. Managing the privacy settings of a page. More often than not, a page is set up for public access initially by yourselves, but at any point in the future, that page can be turned to be private and allow only very specific access to that page. And the last note on there is that we would try to encourage that tribute guardian to have any contact directly with Much Loved and not the funeral director, not for any other reason apart from just trying to make your life a little bit easier. So let's hopefully this should all work very seamlessly. I'm just going to go on to show you the various methods of adding a tribute guardian. So I'm just going to share my screen. Good luck. Exit number 2. There we go. And I will just be looking to one side. So hopefully now you can see. So can you just confirm you're seeing my partner area?
Yeah, I can see that.
That's brilliant. Okay, so this should all look very familiar to yourselves. This is our kind of sandbox play partner area that we have. The easiest method of adding a tribute guardian is actually during the process itself. So I'll just do a very quick tribute. This will look quite familiar. Again, if you have any questions as you're going through, as I'm going through, pop them on the panel, and we'll answer those at the end. So we will just simply go and create a tribute, putting in some various details of an individual. I'm just going to keep this one fairly short, just for expediency. I'm only going to put in the first name and surname. Obviously, all this other information can be added to. Quickly just save that. I will just very quickly add a funeral notice. It's not necessary. We just want to get to the charity page. We're assuming in this case that a charity has been nominated. There you go. All the details have been added. Now, when we get to the next section, the donations and charity section, when we select a charity, you have the ability to add a donations contact. So I'm just going to add a very worthwhile charity to support. There we go. Much Loved Charitable Trust. Once you've added a charity, you'll see this donations contact come up. So if we add the donation details, you'll see just at the bottom of the donations contact page, we can make the owner the tribute guardian. So again, I'm just going to quickly add some details in. It's preloaded. And if we make the, we'll say that it's not known. And if we make the person the tribute owner at this stage, an email will then be sent to that individual. So in this case, to my email address, and we'll have a quick look at that at the end. And that will then make them the tribute owner. So simply save the donations contact. And the donations contact, by the way, is that information is passed to the charity, so the charity can thank that individual for setting the page up. So the final section here, we'll stay with the Freesia theme and continue, taken back, final little step there, taken back to the partner area. And there we go, there's the tribute page that I've just created. And there's the tribute guardian's details. So in this case, my test email. If you have entered or you created a page and you haven't entered a tribute guardian, maybe there's no charity associated with it, or maybe someone is not sure who wants to look after the page, you do have the ability to add the tribute owner at this stage here. So just this example, all you do is just click on add tribute details, and you can add the email address there, and an email will be sent to that individual. You also have the ability, I'm just going to go back to the all tributes list. You also have the ability to add that in the settings part of the tribute. So obviously, I'm sure most of you have been into this area. This gets you into the background part of the page. We'll just select the tribute settings for this one, and you can actually add the tribute owner here, just again with the addition of the email address. And if you need to change the tribute guardian, you can also do that at the same stage. Go to this one where my email is added, and you can change the owner. So we could change it from this email address, and you can actually resend their login details too. I was going to try and share my email.
Rich, before you move on, Drew has asked a question in the chat box.
Okay.
I just wondered, while you're on the partner area, if you can answer that. So,
where's his question? I can't see his question.
So he's written, under donations contact, can you change tribute owner to tribute guardian just for consistency?
In terms of our terminology?
So just for clarification, Drew, the sort of tribute owner and the tribute guardian are they're the same thing to us. So I'm wondering if you're meaning whether you can change the tribute donations contact information, which you can do now, or like Richard showed, when you're handing the page over and you're putting the charity, when you're putting the charity information in, you can select to make the tribute guardian the same person as the donations contact. Oh, I see.
Okay.
Well, we'll have to come back to you on that, I think.
Yeah, so the tribute owner and tribute guardian are the same terminology. Donations contact is slightly different, but yeah, we shall take that back. So I'm just going to try and show you a portion of my screen. So I'm just going to stop the share for just one moment. Okay, so we often get asked, what is the email? You probably won't see this, but so the email that gets sent to an individual looks like this. Obviously, this would be the your brand, whichever funeral director you're coming in from, and there'll be direct links for them to be able to log on to their page, and also manage the page. I will just click in on that for you quickly now, and then hand you back to Sally in just a moment. But this is, when they click on that link, this is the email. Sorry, this is the page they initially see. So we do give them some basic sort of suggested steps on how they could start to grow and develop the page. But we also make it quite clear, if they want any help, they can always get in touch with us there. Okay. So great. I'm just going to drop you back to Sally. Sally's gone into an individual's tribute page just to show you some of the functionality we've got.
Okay, thanks, Rich. So yeah, so this is a tribute page that we've set up. Again, it's set up for demonstration purposes, but and I'm sure you're all very familiar with the page, but I just wanted to take this opportunity just to highlight some of the functionality for the families. So all of the tributes have got a theme, and I know they're extremely popular with yourselves, and where a photo hasn't been uploaded onto the main part of the tribute, what we do is we take a snapshot of the theme and place that where the main image would go. So the tribute never looks empty in terms of kind of imagery. And then underneath that, as you all know, that's where the funeral information displays. And even after the funeral, this potentially is relevant because there may be webcasting information so that people can still view the funeral long after the funeral has taken place. But really, after the funeral, this is where the tribute pages really come into their own, as they provide a really fantastic place for friends and family to be able to share their memories. And over the last 12 months, we have seen an enormous increase in activities on the actual tribute pages, but not just in terms of donations being collected, but how people are using it. So photos added, music added, thoughts, stories, and all the rest of it. And if I just click on the contribute button, you can really see the breadth of how people can actually interact with the tribute pages, so friends and family. So like I said, it's not just about making a donation, but that's very clearly, it's very clear to people how they can do that. But also if they wanted to carry on fundraising long after the funeral collection, maybe they felt or feel compelled to do some sort of fundraising event, then they can just add in a fundraising event by clicking on the add an event, and they can continue their fundraising from there. So we've got two choices here, actually. They can either create an event directly fresh through their Much Love tribute, or if they've already got an existing Just Giving fundraising page, then they can link to it. So all the money can be collected and recorded in one place. One of the reasons why our charity partners love the service so much. But also there's lots of other ways to interact, and I'm sure you're all very familiar with candles. And in fact, there's the opportunity for yourselves to leave candles on a tribute page directly from your partner area. And also gifts. The gifts are something that we launched, well, it feels like it was really recent, but in reality, it was last March, but it's been a hell of a year, hasn't it? So, but the gifts are lovely. So you can see here, there's lots of different visual images that people can leave on their tribute page. So we'll have a look at the Mother's Day images that can be left. So lots of flowers, cards, and we have various seasonal gifts. So we leave them on Father's Day, Remembrance Day, Christmas, and then also Valentine's Day. So just provides lots of different ways for people to interact with the tribute. And actually the gifts, the messages that are left with the gifts are very moving. I think just the visual images seem to kind of conjure up much more sort of thoughtful messages that are left on the tribute pages. And then there's the opportunity for people to leave stories and thoughts, and you can see all the other options too. And the lovely thing about the tribute pages is they can be very much personalized. So actually, if a family member taking over the tribute, doesn't want people to add something in particular, then they can just switch that off. So it no longer becomes an option for friends and family to contribute that way. So it can be very much personalized. And obviously with the pictures, there's the opportunity to create a slideshow on the front of the tribute. And all of the sort of what we call media is then hosted in the galleries. And Richard and I have kind of built up this tribute page just with some examples so that you can see how the galleries look when they're full. So, lots of videos have been uploaded, music, candles, gifts and thoughts can all be viewed here. So hopefully that gives you a real sort of flavour for how the pages can be used. And I just wanted to have a look. Are there any questions, Rich?
Yeah, I've got a question, and maybe it's not necessarily one for us to actually answer. It might be one for the floor to answer, about whether or not funeral directors go into much detail with the clients about the terms of the terms and conditions with a potential guardian. I suspect probably not, but okay, maybe if people want to maybe put their answers in the chat box. So do the FDs go into much detail about the terms and conditions with a potential guardian?
I think our recommendation would be just to let the family know that their contact details will be passed on to the benefiting charity if they're supporting a charity through the page. In terms of what Much Love to do with their details, we don't do anything. We just communicate with them about their page, so they wouldn't be marketed to from us. And actually, the charities that are benefiting, some of them have their own GDPR marketing questions uploaded on the system, so they can only be marketed to if the family opt in to receive additional information. But generally, the important thing is to tell the families that they'll only be communicated with about the page, so that there's no risk of them being sort of bombarded by us. That's for sure. There's a. Okay, so Drew says. Okay, so are there any other questions? There's the last thing I really wanted to just sort of remind everybody before we finish for today was from your partner area underneath the Manage tab, you've got a training and support section. So if you just click on that, it then opens up to a lovely training and support site that we've developed specifically for our funeral director partners. And it's got loads of information. There's loads of videos. So if we click on doing more with Much Love, you can see how to add a funeral location. You can see all kinds of information in there. And Richard suggested I pointed out the one in the FAQs, which is particularly about how to add in a PDF file onto a tribute. So requires a little bit of jiggery pokery, but it's possible. and the instructions are in there.
That's been quite a popular query up until now.
So Hillary's asked what our charges are and what percentage we take. So I'll let you answer that, Rich.
So the much loved charge is 3.2%, and we use a card processor, which in our case is Stripe, and they charge 1.3%. So in total, 4.5% is deducted from any donation. If the donation is gift aided, it's from the gift aided total.
Excellent, great. So thank you very much again for joining us today.
It's not on the flyer. Is that the client information leaflet, Hillary? It's a, yeah, we can add that, can be added to your leaflet. That's absolutely fine. It's something we provide. We don't provide it yet. If you wanted us to add it, then we can do that.
It's on when an individual makes a donation. It's they have to agree to the terms and conditions, and it's listed in the terms and conditions. But yes, absolutely, we can add it on to your flyer if you like. Lovely. Okay, well, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us this morning, and I
was just going to add just one last thing. Sorry. If anyone has any thoughts or suggestions or any sort of gaps that knowledge gaps they'd like filled with sort of future sessions, drop us an email, drop us a message, and yeah, we endeavour to do this. We're going to try and do them sort of once a month, aren't we, Sally? I think
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so do let us know. I'll send out the link to everybody. So if you've got any feedback, then please feel free to respond to my email with any ideas and suggestions. Great, so thank you very much. And